Okay, this is my final review with spoilers. Why didn't why didn't they tell the cops or any adult when they found out information about who hit her in the side of the head the first time? Like, so much would have been prevented if when they figured out who hit her in the side of the head, they would have just said, oh, it was this guy. Not necessarily like they knew exactly who it was, because they really didn't, but at least they could have said, hey, somebody that actually goes to the school is the one that did it. That would have helped narrow it down. The cops had no information and had to figure it out all by themselves. They got there somewhat, maybe eventually. But if the kids had the information, why didn't you just let an adult know? Like, hey, by the way, I don't remember who hit me in the side of the head, but I do know they were wearing a school uniform. So let's narrow down the pool of people. Secondly, that little guy, the brother of the actual murderer guy, like the little kid is like 10 years old still in the story at the end of it. Nobody's going to tell the mom, hey, you need to get this kid checked out. Like, he's hurting animals. Like, nobody's going to talk about that at all. We're just gonna let that kid just grow up fine and not be a menace to society. Like, what? I will say the lead actress did a fantastic job, because I actually did believe when she was switching characters that she was a completely different person. Like, I can see that there was a different person in front of me, and it was her. Like, she did a great job kind of switching between the two characters that she was playing, which I think was really nicely done, actually. The guys were also pretty good, but she carried the show. Of course, the show is mostly about her, but she carried the show. I typically do like time travel movies and shows and stuff, and I know this is an adaptation. Without watching the original, this is the only version I've seen. I actually did like it. Eventually pulled it together well. So I like that part, actually. It was confusing in the middle, but I think it was meant to be confusing until they pulled it all together. There are a few plot holes here and there, but we can't have everything perfect, especially with time travel. And lastly, the best friend in you taking the fall from quote unquote being the murderer. Like, he didn't do anything, and I know he did it so that the girl's death would be in vain, but like, that whole point, that really didn't amount to anything. I feel bad for him, but I'm like, why did you do that? You didn't even need to do that, like, at all, actually. And then stick to your lie for 9 years in jail and leave your grandmother alone. Like, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Like, why would you leave your grandma alone for a girl? What? And another point, like, when they found out about the photos, before the cops even knew that the girls put the photo up at night, and then during that night, someone came in and hurt the other girl, like, that would have been critical information to tell the cops right after you found out. It took them another while to find out that even happened. And then they were pointing it in the wrong direction. But if they had any information, they should have right away. These three people running around like they're detectives with all the information and doing absolutely nothing about it. But I know it's part of the storyline. But I'm just like, the whole time I'm like, ah. Sorry, I'm done ranting.